Our next speaker, and wrapping up our morning slate of speakers, is Ed Lu, who is the CEO of the B612 Foundation, and a former NASA astronaut. He's flown 3 missions, logging 206 days in space aboard the International Space Station, and since returning to Earth, has undertaken huge projects with Google and others, and now with the B612 Foundation. So please welcome Ed Lu.
Okay, let's see if we can make this work. Got a clicker up here. And if there's one thing I've learned today, it is that audiovisual is tougher than going to space. So first off, I want to thank everyone for coming out for Asteroid Day. And I want to tell you a little bit, not so much about asteroids themselves, but about why I think this subject is important and why I think there's hope for what we're doing. So let me just do a quick recap of the things that we've heard about this morning from everybody. So if this works, and the answer is, it is, I'm trying to click it forward, and look at that. Now if I click again, hopefully the little video works, and the answer is, it didn't. Okay, well, can you start the video? There we go. There's lower left-hand corner. There you go. There's a little lower left-hand corner. You can get it? Yes. Okay. So by now, you've already heard that asteroids are just rocks orbiting the sun. Okay? This is actually every single known asteroid in the solar system, which is not all of them, but every single known asteroid accurately displayed. Okay? These are just the ones we've seen already, and that's what the challenges of asteroids to find the rest of them, which far outnumber the ones that are shown here. Okay? And by now in Asteroid Day, you already have heard about what happens when asteroids sometimes hit the Earth. Okay? Meteor crater again. These things do happen. They're rare, but they do happen. And you've also heard about, thanks to dashboard videos in Russia, you can see footage of asteroids actually hitting the Earth just 2 years ago. Okay? Again, this asteroid was about the size of a house, exploded in the air over the city of Chelyabinsk, with an energy about 30 times of the bomb dropped over Hiroshima. It happens. Rare, but it happens. Last, most of you know that a large asteroid struck the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs. This guy standing back behind me is not here. His descendants are not ruling the Earth. We are, simply because a large asteroid hit 65 million years ago and killed off the dinosaurs. So, should we be scared of asteroids? Should we panic? Is anybody saying that we need to panic about this? Absolutely not. Okay? The message is not the sky is falling. Oh, it is, but at a very slow rate. But that we ought to do something if we're smart. And what really separates us from this dinosaur out here with the brain the size of a walnut is our brains, which are hopefully larger than walnuts. We can think about the future. We can think about what's important. And more importantly, we can build technology and science to do something about it. And that's what it's all about. I think that's the point of Asteroid Day. It is not a message of panic, it is a message of empowerment. We can actually do something about that. And I think that's incredible. So, the whole point of Asteroid Day is really that we actually are already doing something. Remember, I showed you those asteroids that we've seen already. More than 1 million asteroids have already been discovered, more than 10,000 of which are ones that could hit the Earth. And that process is going on. There are telescopes around the world working on this subject, scientists around the world working on this subject. We're making headway, okay? We could certainly do more. There are many, many undiscovered asteroids, more than 1 million of which are large enough to destroy a city. and we've only found a small fraction of them, but there are telescopes being planned, some that are being built, that are actually going to address this issue. Okay, so we're on the cusp of doing just that. And the very fact that we're even talking about this in a serious way, protecting our planet from being hit by asteroids, is really truly amazing if you really think about it. Before I expand upon that, though, I want to tell you a little bit about why I am so fascinated with asteroids. I've always been fascinated with the sky, planets, stars, even shooting stars. Anybody out here have ever had the opportunity to go to a very dark place and just watch the sky? I mean, it's beautiful, right? And and if you're lucky, you get to see an asteroid, a small asteroid, streak by in the sky, a shooting star. Later, when I became an astrophysicist, I actually had the opportunity to learn how some of these things work. And I even got lucky enough to spend 6 months on the space station on my last flight. This is actually, what a small asteroid looks like when it enters the atmosphere below you. One of the favorite things I used to like to do on board the space station is to go to what's called the docking compartment. Turn off all the lights and watch the dark side of the Earth go by. And what you would see below you is city lights, lightning storms, things like that. And every once in a while, you would see a streak of light moving below you, roughly your speed, maybe a little faster. And those are shooting stars below you. You get to see some amazing things from that vantage point. Looking the other way, you see the surface of the moon, as Rusty said, craters on top of craters. Asteroids hitting the Earth, hitting the planets, hitting each other. It's a process that's been going on for literally billions of years. And if you spend enough time off the Earth, it gives you time to think about that, okay? And it really sinks in. But I want to tell you something. The real lesson that I learned from being an astronaut for 12 years, getting to fly on various space missions, wasn't so much that the beauty of the Earth and so on, those things are all true. I think the real lesson that I came away with after all that is that human beings are capable of doing absolutely incredible things if you work together. Okay, that's the key. If you work together. I remember an experience on my second flight. We were flying over it was Bosnia at the time. And at the time, there was a war raging there. And it was interesting as we flew over the top of it in a spaceship built by human beings. And I remember one of my crewmates saying, look at that down there. You can't tell what's going on down there, although we knew, because we knew from the news reports what was going on. And you think about the difference. What was the difference between what was going on down there and what was going on up in space? And the difference was solely that there were a group of people that were working together to build the thing that was up in space, and on the ground, it was a group of people that were absolutely not working together. Okay? There is incredible power in people working together. And I think that's part of the lesson of Asteroid Day that I want everyone to consider. So what are we really talking about here on Asteroid Day? We actually know how to deflect asteroids. This is a small spacecraft hitting a comet called Tempel 1 in 2005. You can do that to an asteroid. It isn't simple to actually hit an asteroid smaller than this building when you're closing in on it at a speed of 20,000 miles per hour, but it's been done before. We can actually do that. Another way to deflect an asteroid that can be used in conjunction with that is something called a gravity tractor. You simply hover a small spacecraft near some large tumbling asteroid, and you can use the tiny force of gravity as a tow line to literally tow that. It's called a gravity tractor. And again, it is not easy. It is rocket science to navigate to an asteroid many millions of miles from Earth, rendezvous with it, and hover over it for months at a time. But we can actually do that. And finally, finding the asteroids first. You cannot deflect an asteroid that you haven't found yet. The great majority of asteroids that are dangerous have not yet been found, but we are building a telescope called Sentinel. There are other telescopes that are currently operating, like mentioned, others that are planned. And we are going to find these asteroids that are going to hit the Earth eventually, okay? The point of Asteroid Day is we want to get it done now because we can. But again, it isn't easy to spot these objects, which are small and dark out there, millions of miles away against a black background. And remember, what you have to do is accurately measure their position so that you can calculate where they are going. And you can actually calculate many decades in advance exactly where an asteroid is going to be in the future, so that we will know if any of these asteroids is going to hit the Earth. Okay, again, not easy, but we can actually do that, all right? There are projects going on, including Sentinel and others, that we're actually going to do that. So in the end, we're really talking about measuring the positions, locations of asteroids, knowing if something's going to hit, and deflecting that on purpose. And that's really what this is all about. So if you think about it, it's kind of science fiction, right? We human beings, if we work together, are actually talking about changing the evolution of this solar system. You know, the solar system is huge. You know, you think of, you know, the city of San Francisco, you move outwards, California, the Earth, orbiting the Earth, all the way out to the sun. We're talking an enormous, absolutely enormous volume of space. And we're talking about controlling it so that the third planet from the sun never gets hit by a large asteroid again from this point forward. Think about that. You know, that's not science fiction, all right? We humans in only 100 years have gone from the point where the first powered aircraft flight happened to walking on the moon. Rusty and his compatriots walked on the moon in the late 1960s, to the point today where we're actually talking about engineering the entire solar system to prevent asteroid impacts on our home planet. That's what Asteroid Day is about. That's why this is important, because we can actually do that, if we work together. I think you can actually divide all of history on this planet into two phases. The first phase, 4 billion years, where random impacts happen on Earth, large asteroid impacts, and the upcoming phase that we are just about to enter, where a living species on that planet has decided that their planet should no longer be hit by asteroids. And I just want especially the kids to really think about what this means. Science, technology, and humans' cooperation can actually make this happen. So that's why I feel Asteroid Day is so important, and that's what this is all about. So thank you very much. I'd like to give it, I just want to also quickly thank California Academy of Sciences and Ryan here for the wonderful job that they've done, and all the organizers who have done an absolutely fantastic job, and the people worldwide listening in, watching, and supporting all of these activities. So thank you very much. Ryan?
Thank you.